Welcome to Pisces season. Yay! Today we welcome the zodiac sign Pisces. So today we'll be digging into the fishies and what Pisces season is all about. And we'll bring in some of the archetypes that you're going to meet here. We'll talk a little bit about what Pisces season is, what you can expect, and it'll be fun. So thank you so much for coming with us on this journey. And before we continue, we want to just introduce ourselves for those of you that are new. My name's Ashley, and I'm joined with Bella, and we're the founders of Unlock Your Design. So this is an online academy where we take human design, gene keys, astrology, the I Ching, and we teach these tools for the purpose of self-awareness and empowerment. And our mission with this academy is to guide and inspire people to embody their truth and their sovereignty.
And more than anything, it's because we want you to live your design. We really want you to use it in your life. That's the self-empowerment. So awareness is good, but embodiment is more important. So super important that today, after you've been here with us, that there is something that you can take with you and implement so that it's not just a waste of time to be here because you have more knowledge stacked on what you already know about those systems.
Yeah, so as you are tuning in today with us, just jot down or write down if something pings for you so that you can dig into it later afterwards and then see how maybe your life would change or transform because of it. So let's see what comes up and be curious. Let's be curious today. Pisces season can bring a lot to the table as we're learning to let go and we're feeling deep feels. There's going to be a lot of emotional gates coming. So emotional competency, emotional maturity is going to be really important here. And especially for those of you, just touching upon what Bella said about embodiment, it's going to be even easier to fall into patterns of addiction, patterns of escapism here, because we're not wanting to go to the thing, do the thing, feel the thing. So we're going to want to be mindful of that scroll and be like, oh, I got to stop the scroll. I'm getting sucked in. It's going to be really easy to get sucked into those kind of addictions and escapism strategies during this season. So just to bring that to your awareness, and let's tune in to the systems that we're using. So you can see in this symbol that, or in this glyph, that we are bringing in elements of the I Ching. Those are those hexagrams, the zodiac signs, human design, and gene keys. Do you want to speak a little bit about bridging the gap, Bella?
We'll speak more about correspondences today because that's basically what we do. Today, we're going to speak about Pisces, or usually on our every week call, we actually even go into the smaller parts, which are the gates, and we look at the gates in terms of all these systems that Ashley was speaking about. So it's really to become fluent between the different languages. And here on this slide, you can see this wheel where we're mapping the sky. On the ring on the outside, you have the hexagrams, and you also have the elements in the I Ching. Then on the inside, you have the zodiac signs, which is the Western way of mapping the sky. And then the Eastern way is the I Ching. And we also have the gates, which are the same as the hexagrams, but those are the numbers. So more than anything, for most of you that are here, you probably know the gates. But what I realized is that a lot of people don't know the wheel or the order. So I was posting something today about if you're a sixth line, you want to look at the gate that comes after, because the sixth line of one gate or hexagram is already looking to the next one. And there are many of the people in the human design and the gene key community that don't even know that you're looking counterclockwise in the wheel. So the way that the sun is moving through the planets and through the gates is counterclockwise. And it's about 6 days in each gate. And as we know, it's about a month in each zodiac sign, which is a little bit easier to remember. But that's why we're here today. We want to look at Pisces season and the 6 or 7 archetypes that are in this month that we're going to go through with the sun. And what we do in Unlock Your Design is that we're simply following the sun, the biggest planetary body, the center of everything. So we are following the sun around the wheel. Every year, we're going through 12 zodiac signs and 64 gates, hexagrams, gene keys.
Yeah, and this kind of process that we go on, our method is called walking the wheel. So we're initiating you into Pisces season that you can see right here, this little glyph. And so the way that we walk the wheel is that we follow the transits. So Pisces season is from the 19th of February to the 20th of March. And during that time, you have these archetypes that come into transit. So the sun is in a particular gate, which is an archetype. And so every around 6 days, we're meeting a new archetype. Now, these are Piscean archetypes. And when we can meet these archetypes, we're meeting parts of our inner world. We're doing parts work. We're coming into contact with what's inside of us. And when we can get to know these parts, we can get to know how we are in relationship with them. And when we do that, we can see what parts need to be healed, brought back, which parts were pushed away or outcast. Where do we have activations or triggers with these archetypes? Because that's where we're going to have activations or triggers with other people, because other people are also going to carry this energy. And so life's going to keep bringing us these things so that we can come back into unity, come back into wholeness. So when we can have a relationship with all 64 archetypes, all 64 of these inner archetypes, we are at peace. We are in peace with ourselves, and we are in unity with ourselves. And Bella's life's work is the 2, which the city is unity. My life's work is the 6, which is peace. So part of what we're here to do or be in the world is to be that peace and that unity. So the work that we're doing with walking the wheel is to help you have and attain inner peace, but also come together with these parts so that we're unified. And all of the acidic frequencies anyways are about love, about unconditional love. So if we can bring more love to ourselves, we can emanate that love out into the world, and we can all experience these shifts into more self-love, into love of ourselves, love of others, and life in the world would be a lot better if we could do that. So walking the wheel is really about meeting these inner archetypes and following the transits around this wheel. And we do this unconsciously anyways, but now that we are bringing our mindfulness, our awareness to it, we can actually make conscious decisions to change what we're doing. We won't need to go into conditioning. We won't need to go into the MO of this is how I've always done things. We get to change because we're aware. And with that awareness, transformation can happen because we make different choices.
Yeah, and it's not so much about figuring out, oh, how can I learn about this gate, one of 64? Because that energy is activated by the sun, and that is something that we are breathing and being connected into, because we have a certain design, and then we have the sun that is in one gate, and then that connects us. So it's so cool to do this with the sun, because that is the strongest activator in terms of the transits. So we actually get to feel and see and be with what's in transit. And that's something that we have done now for over 6 years, and that made it so different in how we were living the experiment and how we were living our lives for me and Ashley. And then we've had like different iterations of doing it with people, doing it with groups, doing it with the team that work with us. And it never gets old and it never gets boring. And every year there's just more richness of allowing those archetypes and those energies to connect us to the energy that is in transit with the sun. So what's going to be activated by the sun in this month, we have already been in the 30. That was just in the last line of the 30, the fire starter. And then we have the 55, the game changer right now. We have the mother, the 37, the detective, the 63, the invitation, the 22, the storm, the 36, and then the innocent, the 25 is right on the cusp again. So it has a part of it that is in Pisces and a part of it that is in Aries. And that's a very important point this year, because we have a lot of planets that are coming over on this side of the outer planets. So Saturn and Neptune are coming into Aries and into gate 25 this year. And we also have the nodes now that are in Pisces and Virgo. So quite a lot of energy here at the end of Pisces, beginning of Aries right now in this beginning of year.
To get back to the astrology wheel, and just like Bella mentioned, we're mapping the wheel as 12 zodiac signs. Like we can look and focus on the hexagrams or the gates, and that's what our walking the wheel process is too. We're initiated by a zodiac season, and then we see the different gates that are in here. But if you just look at Pisces season, This is one of the 12 zodiac signs that we have. And you can start by understanding the different correspondence between the signs and the houses and the planetary rulers as well. So when we're looking at Pisces, Pisces, it corresponds to the 12th house. It's the last sign of the zodiac wheel, and Aries is the first. So here we're wrapping up this cycle, this progression around the zodiac wheel, and it's also corresponding to Neptune. So Neptune rules Pisces. Pisces corresponds to the 12th house, and we'll speak a little bit more about what Pisces is so you can get to know this energy. You also have the Pisces season mini workbook, the guide, that gives you a little bit of understanding about Pisces too. So you can work with that on your own. We also have other opportunities we'll speak about. You can join the inner circle. You can get our Pisces course where we go even more deep into Pisces, and we actually tell you what that means about you particularly. We help you look at your chart to see what do you have sitting in Pisces? What's in your 12th house? What about your Neptune? So that's something we won't be going very deep into in this welcome webinar, but you do have the ability to go deeper into that. Is there anything else you want to mention about the wheel, Bella, before we move on?
Now, maybe just the next slide where they can see what you actually spoke about more visually, where we have those three things that we're looking at. So the sun being in Pisces, and you see that's the Pisces symbol in the blue field. And then it says 12th house because 12th house, 12th sign in modern astrology. And then you also have the symbol for Neptune in the middle. So that's the focus today, the Pisces sign, the 12th house, and the ruler, which is Neptune, the modern ruler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you have been studying astrology for a while, you might already be familiar with the glyphs. But if you're new, it's very helpful to be able to know the associations, like what the glyphs are, because especially in the human design chart or the natal wheel chart, it's not going to tell you that this is Pisces. It's just going to have the sign and also Neptune. And sometimes you'll even see different. I think sometimes Neptune maybe shows up differently. Uranus sometimes does. Pluto sometimes does. Some have a couple different glyphs for themselves. I don't know why they like to confuse us. There's already enough information in astrology, and let's just confuse people more. Okay. So before we dive into things, we want to make sure that you understand the different keywords and things that we're going to be saying. So for each zodiac sign, there's going to be a polarity. So the zodiac sign's either going to be masculine or it's going to be feminine. And with those associations, feminine is negative, masculine is positive. The modality can either be cardinal, fixed, or mutable. Cardinal means that element, that sign, it comes first. Fixed means it's been doing it for a while. It's going in a fixed, stable direction. Mutable means it's changing again. So it's in transition. So there's always going to be three different modalities when we're talking about the elements. So earth, air, water, fire, that kind of stuff. Then obviously here, bringing in elements, it's going to be earth, air, water, or fire. The ruler will be one of the planets. And sometimes you're going to see a ruler in two places, like Venus is Libra and it's also Taurus. So you're going to see Venus show up as a ruler in both of those. And same thing with Mercury. Mercury shows up twice. And then there'll be a corresponding house. Like we said, Pisces is associated with the 12th house. It'll go first through 12th. And then the perspective will either be personal, interpersonal, or transpersonal as we're moving around the zodiac wheel. And so when you are going to look at these, it's not only going to tell us about the zodiac sign, but also the characteristics of the archetypes, the gates, the gene keys that live in that zodiac sign. So as you're getting to know the mother archetype that's in Pisces season, you're also going to start to understand these different qualities that could be associated with her because she's part of Pisces.
What I wanted to add here is that we learn about the gates in human design. Then some of us are in Gene Keys, we read the chapter and there's so much information and it's a little bit hard to retain all that information. So the beautiful thing with expanding the language through astrology is that you get those qualities, that it's not that somebody told us how it works. It's just helpful to expand the language to know, like Ashley was saying, for example, at 22, it's connected to this mutable water. So it gives us another way of looking at it. It expands the language. We don't just have to say what Richard Rudd said or Robert Who said. And it really allows us to understand the archetypes deeper, and also because we go the same thing as in this hexagram structure, we go from the first line that is more simple to the sixth line that is more subtle and a little bit more complex. it's similar in the wheel, so that you know that the ones that are in the beginning of the wheel with Aries and Taurus are a little bit different in that sense than the ones that are in the end of the astrological wheel with Aquarius and Pisces. So it really helps us to understand the archetypes better and to have a more rich language and bring in these things. And that's really what we are doing all the time, the correspondences and the weaving. And that just helps us to know the archetypes through many different lenses and perspectives.
Mhm. So let's get to know Pisces season, Pisces as an archetype. So this is going to show up around February 19th to March 20th each year. The polarity here is feminine. Like Bella mentioned, mutable is the modality, water is the element. The ruler is Neptune, and the house is the 12th. And here the perspective is transpersonal. I'm going to go a little bit deeper into the different characteristics of Pisces season, and then Bella's going to speak a little bit more to the fact that this is transpersonal and give you a different kind of perspective of looking at the zodiac signs. So we'll do that in a moment. And again, like I said, if you're interested, please do go into the Pisces season course. If you've already purchased it, if you're in the inner circle, you already have it. Or if you don't have it at all, I highly suggest going into it. This is the roadmap that's going to help you navigate Pisces season better. We're going to go really deep into Pisces season. So that is just $35. You can purchase it on our Academy website, and we'll make sure to give you some links as we are sending email correspondences out after. So don't worry about it now. We'll get it to you later. Pisces characteristics. Okay, so Pisces season is obviously going to occur when the sun is in the zodiac sign of Pisces. It's a water sign, it's ruled by Neptune, and here are the different characteristics that make up Pisces. So the superpowers of Pisces is that it's very intuitive, it's compassionate, can be really creative, dreamy, mystical, emotionally deep. Again, emotionally deep, it's associated with a water sign. Dreamy, it's associated with Neptune. Neptune has to do with our dreams. Adaptable, spiritual, associated with the 12th house, imaginative, sensitive. All these things are not only talking about Pisces, but also about the ruler and about the house that it's corresponding to, the 12th house. The pitfalls here are that during this season, or people who carry a lot of Pisces energy, they could be overly idealistic. They can go into escapist strategies, like I mentioned earlier. They can get really overwhelmed. They're very much tuning into the sensitive, etheric, subconscious, energetic field. So not only are they dealing with what's here physically, there's a lot of nuance and subtlety that comes from the energetic realm. So they're very much aware of that as well. And it can be easy to get overwhelmed because you are dealing with an extreme amount of stimuli. They can get confused, they can be avoidant, they can be overly emotional, prone to illusions, burdened and vulnerable. They can also fall into victim strategies, victim tendencies, where they feel like a victim, they're claiming that victim role, that life is against them, that everything's too much, that they're too much, that all these things. So that can be some of the pitfalls. And when I speak about Pisces characteristics, these are the things that you can expect to be alive and pregnant in the energy as we are traveling through this season. If you have a lot of Pisces in your chart, you may find yourself being highly intuitable or intuitive, adaptive, imaginative, all these things, but also could deal with some of these pitfalls. So it's not just what can we expect in transit, or if someone has a Pisces sun, this is how they're going to be. No, you're going to experience this at some level. So all of these things are going to be heightened for you during this season, because it's almost like this is the assignment. This is the assignment of the season, and it's what's going to be alive. It's what's going to be activated. So you're not going to try to force your way into things as an Aries or a Taurus. No, you're going to be focusing on letting go, shedding, being very present with what's in the subconscious. You're going to be looking at your emotions here. You're going to be seeing what you need to let go of. So this is a time for surrendering to the flow of life, deepening emotional and spiritual connections, embracing your intuition, creativity, and dreams as guiding forces. This is what's going to help you, quote unquote, be in the flow. And that's going to make your life easier. So when you know that this is the energy that's available to you, you get to use this instead of trying to force something else.
Okay, so here we're going back into those correspondences because we really want it to be seamless in how we understand human design and how we understand astrology. So what you're seeing here, it goes back to what Ashley said before about the transpersonal part of the hexagram structure and the transpersonal part of the astrological wheel. So most of you are more familiar with the hexagram structure where you have the first line that is more simple, more individual. The first 3 lines, you see the color here, 1, 2, 3, is more personal. The first line is investigating for its own sake. The second line is like flowing around and dancing for its own sake. The third line is exploring and trial and erroring for its own sake. So they are personal. They do it for their own sake. They are also connected to the lower chakras. Then we come to the upper trigram in the lighter color here, which is all about sharing with the world. So it's always with the other. So this fourth line is externalizing and connecting with the other. The fifth line has the overview, it's more mental and it's very practical in that sense, and it can organize things. And then the sixth line is overview, and we say that it's even up on the roof, looking and sometimes feeling disconnected even. So when we look at these 6 lines and we know that in the wheel we have 12 signs, we could actually pair the signs 2 and 2 and 2 and 2, and we could say that it corresponds in the energy to the more simple, the Taurus and the Aries, the first 2, to the first line. And then going around the wheel 2 and 2 until we come to the 6th line. And as it say here, that's Aquarius and Pisces. So Aquarius would be the masculine part of the 6th line, and Pisces would be the feminine part of the 6th line. And we know that they have to do with this transpersonal overview, the end of the process, they're very transpersonal. So in the next slide, we're going to repeat some of those keynotes for the 6th line, and you're going to be able to feel into how this actually also have to do with Aquarius and Pisces. And when it comes to masculine, feminine, or negative and positive, we can think about it simply that the masculine it was goes out and the feminine it's what comes in. So the Pisces energy is more introvert and the Aquarius energy is more extrovert. And in the 6th line, we have both those energies. So here the 6th line, the purpose is to envision, to embody our uniqueness and become the bridge to the future. And you can feel that with Aquarius energy, the Aquarius age, right? It's about the bridge to the future. So this is to role model for those that are ready to evolve. And it's also to hold a cellular wisdom. So Richard Rudd speaks about intent. It's like you go out in the world and your compass on how to be in the world is because of a cellular understanding, a cellular wisdom, a cellular intent that also is connected to what's possible. And that's what we can feel in people that have Pisces or Aquarius that are very in tuned not only to what's here and tangible, but to the more subtle and the kind of limitless in Pisces, and a little bit more of the visionary in the Aquarius energy. So here are the roles for the 6th line that we could also apply to Aquarius and Pisces. So the role model, the visionary, the teacher, and the sage. And then the high frequency. So in the high frequency, Aquarius, Pisces, and the 6th line are wise, accessible, and ahead of their time. The low frequency can be to be disconnected, aloof, arrogant, inaccessible. And here we can see maybe that disconnected is a little bit more Pisces out there floating, inaccessible as well. And even aloof and arrogant could be a bit more of that Aquarius energy that I know how to do this. It's fixed air energy. It's very clear of where it's going. And then we have response best to patience and space. This is also in a sense that they are ahead of their time and they are ahead of like other people in terms of even being able to see further and feel further. So that's why it's good with space and patience in those 2 signs. And then general advice, watch yourself when you disengage. Manifest your highest vision here in your physical body. And that is something for both Pisces and Aquarius again, to know that it's here. It's not just about the future and it's not just about dreaming. Dreaming would be a thing that Pisces people do, is like they rather daydream or go and sleep and dream or take some drug and dream than really be proactive in their lives. So that's something that for this month, we can see a bit of that floating out there and not be so concrete. So bringing back, and the other way that we bring it back from an astrological sense and a programming partner sense is that when you feel like you become too much Pisces or too much emotional in those gates that are here in the wheel, you look at the opposite of the wheel where you're going to have all the Virgo gates, and they are going to allow you to ground, that's earth element, and come into more of an integration of those two sides. So we call it in the gene keys programming partners. Whatever is on the other side of where you are in terms of the gene key gate, it's going to help you. And in terms of the astrological sign, so for Pisces, it's going to be the Virgo part of the wheel that is helping you to ground.
Mhm. Yeah, so just another perspective and correspondence here, and looking at how Pisces and Aquarius can be considered the sixth line. And so here's the different ways that you can understand this. So we're giving you another correspondence here to help you understand Pisces season a little bit more, as well as Aquarius season, because it's also the sixth line. Like Bella said, Aquarius masculine, Pisces feminine. We're going to have the yin and the yang, the masculine, the feminine in each of those sections in all six of those lines. So it's a really cool way to look at it.
And just knowing that everything is spirals, right? Everything is processes, and it starts from simple, one cell, and then it divides. And then we can have organisms like human beings and solar systems. So it's really just to look at those processes that go from simple to more complex, that go from more tangible, like earth element, to more subtle, like the air and the ether and the spirit. And those are spirals. So that's also what we're walking the wheel. We're going round and round. And in any system, any process, you can really see how it builds. And so this is also a way not to understand human design or gene keys, understanding life, processes, anything, like the evolution of consciousness. Everything is going to have this kind of building on each other. And then it comes back and it spirals and octaves. So here we have your chart, Ashley. What are we going to do with this one? Yeah, so now we are just illuminating a little bit, but this is going to be what you do if you get the Pisces masterclass with the different videos that are in there. You're going to learn this. But this is just to give you an overview again. So we love this bi-wheel where you have all the gates on the inside, and then you are going to have the zodiac sign and the zodiac signs and the houses on the outside. So in this natal chart for Ashley, where we are going to look for the energy that we are speaking about today and the archetypes that we're going to go deeper into today, it is in the Pisces part of the wheel. So we want to look in her case, what planets does she have here? And we can see that she has her evolution sphere, her Earth that's there. So this is something that's going to be a little bit of a challenge for her, and that she's here to anchor. So she's here to anchor gate 36, the crisis, the storm, the darkening of the light. That's her challenge in this lifetime. She's here to ground that. And she's here to ground this in a practical way. She has the fifth line and she has to cross of the plane. So she's here to ground that in a more practical way. And I know that she's really good at asking people about their emotions. She has an undefined emotional center, the 36 in the emotional center. And she actually is not only working with her own, but as a fifth line, she's transpersonal. So she's also helping people to know what they feel and not be in turbulence, but more understanding what's going on. And then the other place where we can look that has a corresponding energy to what we're speaking about today is the 12th house. So here Ashley has quite a lot going on. She's going to have Uranus, Neptune. And what does it mean when you have the great change maker of Uranus in the 12th house and also Neptune? So Neptune, it's at home there. So there can definitely be some stuff here that is quite out there for Ashley. When you have this kind of dreamy illusion in its home sign, it can be exponential dream illusion, and especially in parts of life before there's a breakthrough. So that's just something that's there for her. Also, with the change maker Uranus there, we know that Ashley's going to have quantum leaps where she has this energy or through this energy. So this is, you can go way deeper in this, and we are going a little bit deeper in the master classes, and also knowing that this is quite complex. So this is something that if you're just in human design or gene keys, you probably will never go this deep. But we love genetic matrix that have this bi-wheel where you can see the houses and the signs together with the gates, and you get a whole different way of seeing your design, because this is your human design but just mapped in an overview.
Okay, let's move on to the archetypes that are at home here in Pisces. Oh, yeah, get the course. And these Pisces archetypes, let us know if you have any of them inside of that are activated in your chart. So again, the fire starter, the game changer, the mother, the detective, the invitation, the storm, and the innocent. And we'll go through these individually and tell you a little bit about that. Belle and I will go back and forth between these archetypes and just let you know what they're about. And this is also going to help you prepare for the season, because not only are we giving you insights into what does Pisces season mean, we want to go down to the minutia, the details here, where we have 7 archetypes that are going to be transiting here. So what does that mean when the game changer's in transit? It's in transit right now as we're recording. So you might want to understand that so that you can choose differently during this transit. So these are the Pisces archetypes. So the fire starter was in transit from February 13th through the 18th around. And this one's about ecstatic desire. So it's about embracing that passion for profound experiences, purification, and transformation. This one was part of the codon ring of purification with the 13. So here, the fire needs to burn. The burning is what allows the transformation to happen. And so we're here to surrender to the flames. And this is more so a Aquarius archetype than it is a Piscean archetype, because it only spends a couple degrees in Pisces, but it does act as a bridge. So in that 6th line, we are looking forward to Pisces energy. We have to surrender to the flames to burn what needs to burn. It's almost initiating this process for Pisces, because like I said, Pisces is about letting go. It's about surrendering. So we want to burn up what needs to so that we can work on and focus on what needs to come through during this season, where we're going to be more sensitive, where emotions are going to be at the forefront, where we are going to tune in and tap into our intuition. So we want to get all the stuff out of the way so that we can have more clarity of what's underneath the surface. 12th house, what's under here, what's under the hood. So that's what's going to initiate this, and Bella will bring us into the game changer.
So this is where the sun is right now. So about February 19th to February 23rd. So here we can say it's about breaking free, transcending illusions to align with abundance, flow, and emotional liberation. And what we want you to do here is to embrace emotional freedom. So this is, if you're into the gene keys, part of that whole prophecy of where we're going. So 2027, that's when we're going into 6th line reality. We looked at the 6th line right before, which is stepping into something more subtle, where we're definitely not figuring out where we're going. We're having this cellular wisdom intent so that we can navigate in the world. And part of what's happening in 2027, this connects both to the 30 and the 55. Those are emotional gates in the body graph. And we're going through a mutation of the emotional center right now, where it goes from being just a motor, an emotional motor, regenerator, generator, into being an awareness center together with the spleen and the ajna. So as we're going into 2027, it is to become more aware and also become more free in how we can use our emotions, not as something that is taking us off center and pulling us away to have experiences that maybe really don't make any sense, and we've already had 17 experiences like that and it's just emotional turmoil. No, it's really way more about having that awareness, about like a feeling sense of things that goes together with an instinctual intuition of the spleen, and also the more left brain logical approach of the ajna. So with the 30 and the 55, we are surrendering to the flames of emotion without being eaten up by them, without being pulled out of center. And it's to understand or embrace this emotional freedom when you allow yourself to feel fully, yet you're staying in your center. A bit of a test of this weekend, because I was introduced to a person that I didn't think I was going to be introduced to, and it was very difficult past there, and I could feel everything, but I was also able to respond to it in a way that didn't pull me off center or pull that person off center either. And even the third person that didn't know what was there really was safe. So it's not to not feel, you feel everything, but you can still show up from a place of integrity, from a place of centeredness. And then if you have to go home and shake everything off, you can. But it's really to respond to life with this kind of emotional freedom. So that is what Richard Rudd speaks about when it's this prophecy of the 55 and how we're able to respond to life and how we're able to relate. The last thing I'm going to say here is that this is connected on the other side of the wheel to the 59, which is intimacy. So this is where we can create intimacy, because when we are responsible for our emotional output, that's when we can create trust and intimacy with the other. There's a transparency, but there's not this kind of victimizing myself or victimizing the other because I can't take the emotional intensity that I feel.
So after the game changer, we'll meet the mother archetype 37. This one is unique because the programming partner is the same as the harmonic gate here. So the whole channel will be activated when this one comes through. So you've got the 37, which is the mother. And on the opposite side of the wheel, we have the father, which is a Virgo gate. So this is Pisces, and then father is Virgo. Pisces. This one's going to transit from February 24th to March 1st. And the mother is about compassion and care. So she's here to nurture the collective with unconditional love and heartfelt understanding. They're also very tribal. So it is about your tribe. It is about your family. It is about those people that are close to you. This is the channel of community. So it's whatever you are considering and associating. What is community to you? What is the family unit to you? And what we're here to do during this season is to nurture and to protect. So the mother is here to have that finger on the pulse of the emotional landscape, the emotional realm of things. And so how is the family unit doing? What do they need? How do they need to be cared for? What can I offer to them? And here we're coming into tenderness, we're coming into equality. And so we're here to see everyone as equals and to know that like people need different types of care, and to also know that within a family unit we have the more practical head of the house kind of father type that is there to push through, use that willpower center to bring home the bacon, to make things happen, to provide for the family. So the father will be here to provide, and while the father's away, the mother's here to nurture and to protect the little children. It's this mama bear energy. There's also a lot of touch that's associated with tribal energy and with the mother and the father in particular. So it is there to give those hugs, to feel those warm embraces, to transmit that tenderness through the act of touch. So you might feel more compelled to be more loving, to be more touchy-feely, to connect more in that way. And if you have this gate activated, you're going to want to work with it, especially if it's in a particularly hard placement, like maybe your vocation. You're here to help try to get into those higher frequencies of tenderness and equality. So if you have a fragmented relationship with your own mother, I highly suggest you tuning into a different archetypal energy of the mother. Mother Mary, mother, just tune into something that is it is a more exalted form of the mother, especially if you have a mother or a father wound that might come up during this time. So be a little bit more gentle with yourself. And if you can't be the one that nurtures and protects others, know that it's okay to be the one that's going to be nurtured and protected. So don't feel like you have to go into that role of I'm going to save, I'm going to be the one doing. If you are hurt during any of these transits, your emotions, your state of being comes first. You can't pour from an empty cup. So you really need to keep tuning into that emotional landscape to see what's going on here. Is anything coming up? Because we do not want to go into escapist tendencies here. We do not want to self-sacrifice, self-sabotage. We want to come into ourselves because that's what's needing the assistance. It's very easy to go into the transpersonal nature, right? We're at the end of the zodiac wheel season. That is transpersonal already. And sometimes with all this Piscean energy, it's very hard to say what's mine, what's yours. The lines get blurred. So if you're feeling it, heal it for yourself. Don't ask the question, is this mine or is this not? If you get sucked into the depths and you're really suffering, maybe a little bit of detachment helps, but you're here. If you're activated, if you're triggered, it's because it's touching something in you. So that's where you have to do the work. If you're already pulled in, it's too late. It's time for you to heal, to do that work. So again, be gentle with yourself and know that what you are doing inside within yourself in your own subconscious is healing the greater humanity and the greater subconscious of humanity.
63, the detective, if you think about it, especially in human design, it's like logical, it's a little bit suspicious in the sense that it uses its mind to figure out what things are and what they aren't. And it just feels to me in that understanding circuitry very logical and very ajna head connected. And really to know there's a Pisces archetype and that the inquiry really goes beyond the mind. It's actually a kind of limitless inquiry, a curiosity to feel into everything. And that's what the detective is here for. So even the name that we chose is probably showing a little bit more of that human design way of seeing it. It would be great to have some other options for this archetype. So it's connected to Pisces energy. It's about seeking truth, not just seeking the facts. So here we are balancing doubt and faith, and we're uncovering the deeper truths within ourselves and the world. And here, what we want you to do is to seek the hidden clues and awaken insight. So this is what we speak about a lot in our immersions. We call it creative inquiry. In Gene Keys, we speak about contemplation, and we believe that often contemplation is a little bit misunderstood. Richard Rad, especially when he speaks about the Venus sequence and the SQ, he says that in that contemplation can also be physical contemplation, and it is to include the wholeness of who you are. It's just that the word contemplation feels a bit like connected to the mind. So when we say creative inquiry, there are so many things that you can use. You can use the elements, you can use movement, you can use all the different things to inquire in a creative way deeper into things and getting clues. And this is also what we are doing is walking the wheel. It's a creative inquiry. Every single year, we're walking the wheel in different ways. Like what we are doing this year, it's not the same slides. It's not the same way that we were welcoming people into Pisces season last year. So this is what the 63 brings. It never gets old. It's always fresh, and it always goes into different ways where it hasn't been before. And it's not really afraid of the dead ends either. It's this creative inquiry. Whatever comes in, it's valuable to understand deeper and broader. It's so cute.
What's the comment? The invitation from the dog. On the other end, okay, this is the message that he brings. On the other end of the spectrum, we have Virgo, which isn't it associated with pets as well? So get your support animals. If you're dealing with a hard time, you need to just pet a doggy or a cat or talk to your birdie or fish or whatever you have. Pets can help you when you're struggling. So that's the invitation as well. The invitation is to seek support when you need it. And if you need to be held cosmically by grace, you can call upon that energy and be like, I just really need to be held right now. Hold me in a space of grace. You want to feel that protective bubble, like a higher power is supporting you. A higher power is holding you. This is going to transit from March 7th to the 12th, and it's about grace and depth. So stepping into emotional depth and the power of grace, elevating others into that higher frequency by first elevating yourself. This is not just about elevating others, it's not just about the others. The invitation here into the solar plexus center is saying, every emotion has a seat at the table. You are welcome here. I will make space for you. It is time for us to feel it so that we can heal it. So if something is coming up, we don't need to go straight to the mind. We need to go to the body and say, where am I feeling this? Touch that place in you. Feel, does it have a texture? Does it have a voice? What am I feeling here? And allow it time to metabolize, allow it to have its space in the spotlight so that you're able to work with it. It needs to be felt, it needs to be expressed, it needs to be moved. It needs its space. So remember also with the 6th line, patience and space, you need to have patience with yourself. Stuff will come up for you. And you're going to need to be there for yourself first and foremost. And so feel it, heal it, get into the body. So the invitation here is to turn your pain also into beauty. This also invites you to get creative. Every emotion can be seen as beautiful, even the ones that we have negative associations with: anger, sadness, depression, melancholy. They all are a portal into creating something beautiful, it's a creative outlet. This emotional energy is individual here. It's you being creative. It's you bringing a song, a poem, a movement, an expression, and you're here to emote. So let it be an offering to the world instead of feeling like it's a burden, or I don't want to share my pain. I don't want to show up here because I don't want to bring people quote unquote down. but everybody can relate and resonate with that feeling because we've all felt it. We're on the human experience. We have experienced these things before. So it's inviting other people to also have compassion. You're having compassion for yourself, you're giving yourself space, and you're turning this pain that you have into something beautiful. So it's something sacred, and it's an offering that you're putting on the altar of your life experience, saying, I'm giving it space to have a voice. I'm giving it space. And that's honoring, right? That frequency moves from dishonor to graciousness to grace. We don't want to dishonor these emotions. We want to put them on the altar and say, you're welcome. You are welcome here. So that's the invitation here.
When I hear you speak, Ashley, I was thinking about what Rob Comber said about the 22, which is his life's work. So Rob was speaking about emotional tenacity. This is like you're thrown into the akash of everything that ever happened between lives and death. And it feels like if you have the 22 and in this energy, you need that in order to move through it. And I'm thinking about the friend that you have, Ashley, also is a manifester. Like sometimes I think about what she's been through and I'm like, that takes emotional tenacity because it's an invitation. But what you're saying yes to, it's not easy. It's everything that's ever been there in the emotional sense. And it's not only in this lifetime, it's like the akasha of everything that was ever felt. So this one is big. And similarly to the 55, Richard Rudd has like a whole book, a whole process that is also connected to the 22. It's connected to the 7 sacred seals. So this is like a wormhole as well that you go in, you're sucked in, and you are in that universe world that has so many layers. So that one it's big. And I think when it comes in transit, we'll all feel it. It's definitely one of the ones that I sometimes shy away from, but I'm looking forward to it anyway. Okay, and then we have the storm. So we did speak about this a little bit. This is Ashley's evolution sphere, and this is in transit from March 13th to March 18th. This was my dad's life's work, and he said before he died, he said, I was never really in control of my life. And he never found peace. So he also wrote a beautiful poem in his last will that says, once you see my ashes going out over the big open sea, you will know that I eventually found the peace that I never found when I was alive. So I think that speaks a lot to what this gate is about. There is going to be emotional turbulence. So here there is a possibility for emotional renewal where we do embrace this emotional turbulence as a catalyst for wisdom, resilience, and transformation. And I think that what my dad said was like, for him, it was more like the turbulence after the turbulence. And then at least it seems like death is giving you the opportunity to rest for a little while and find your peace. But I think here, especially for the younger generations and where we have integrated more wisdom, more awareness, more embodiment, we can actually have this emotional renewal during a lifetime. We don't have to wait to the other side and think about it and come back. We can do it. So definitely the storm, it's a challenge, not only for somebody who has it in the evolution sphere of life's work, it's something that all of us have. And this is where Neptune has been for a very long time, for years, and now moving into the 25 and Aries. So it's been activated by Neptune for the collective, where we have been nudged to find in ourselves what is this emotional renewal? How can we use the darkening of the light to transform and alchemize to come out on the other side with more emotional wisdom? And this is something that we can see too in people that have emotional authority, which is 50% of the population. When they actually dare to be with their emotions and go through the waves and not necessarily act on the waves, that's also when they're embodying more of this emotional wisdom. And when people that aren't emotionally defined feel very safe around them because they feel like they can hold the emotionality, but also that they have this kind of grounded wisdom. And that just feels really good. So this is part as well of this mutation of the emotional center that we're going through, where it's going to feel like the world is a safer place as we're able to hold more of the emotional intensity. So ride the waves and transform chaos into growth.
And then finally, we have the innocent. So the innocent is going to be in transit from March 19th to 23rd. It's also a bridge, bridging Pisces to Aries. So there's a renewal that's also happening here where there's a death and a birth, right? And in that, in a way, we begin where we end as well. And so here, the end is where we begin. And that's where we can retain and reclaim our innocence. and it's about pure trust. So cultivating pure-hearted trust in the divine unfolding of life and universal love. So innocence is very much connected to taking that step forward without any expectations or preconceived notions. We're approaching life from curiosity and from purity, where we're like, I don't know what's going to happen. Because when we aren't associating where we're going with where we've been, it has so much pure potentiality in front of it. And oftentimes the 25 is connected to the 51 in that channel of awakening, right? And so there's usually a shock. There's a shock that comes, that shocks us into, that brings us to our knees, or that invites us into that relationship with God. Like, God, why is this happening to me? We are saying, I have to surrender. I have to surrender because I can't control life at all. Like, I don't even know what to do. So in that, or maybe I've never experienced this before in my whole life, I don't even know how to navigate this. So allowing ourselves to come into communion with that greater spirit, our higher self, that greater spirit, essence, God, universe, source, that's where we're going to also meet that bigger body. And also where we're transforming the little I into the big I. So there is a trust and a surrender also that needs to come here. And the invitation is to return to that purity and to awaken divine love. So if we're looking at universal love here and unconditional love here, it's something that is not innately human. The last transit that we had was the storm. It's going to bring us turbulence so that we can have compassion and bring us back to our humanity, right? It's not all sunshine and rainbows. And in order to get the rainbows, we have to have the storm, because that's what brings us the rainbows. So this is all about having love and compassion for what we've experienced. And the innocent is here to bring us back to our innocent nature, right? Be a child again, to love again. And it feels really big, and almost even the acidic frequency is a little bit untouchable, unreachable. Richard had said once that the acidic frequency of the innocent, unconditional love, universal love, that can basically be all of the other cities. There isn't a lot of distinction when you get to the acidic frequencies, because it's all about love. And so how can we return to love at the end of Pisces season? What have we gone through that makes us feel more love for ourselves, more love for this human experience, that brings us back?
I think that her internet went crazy. So for me, the 25, it's so rich. So all of the gates of the vessel of love, which is the 25, and the programming partner in the 46, and then the 10 and the 15, and they're all in the G center. They are on the cusp. So going back to astrology, they are going to have two different signs in them. So if you have the cross of the vessel of love, you have all this different kind of energy. It's cardinal and mutable energy. And the 25 is the end of the wheel and the beginning of the wheel. So similarly, when we speak about on both sides of the wheel, the way Roy is speaking about it, we have the 60, which is the last gate, and then we have the 41, which is the first gate. Well, here within the same gate, we have the very last degrees of Pisces and the first degree of Aries. So it's like really the end and the beginning. So what does that mean? Like if we are going to simplify here, the end and the beginning, it starts and it ends with innocence. And can we do that? Like, again, applying this on cycles. We come in innocent, right? A baby that needs to be fed, that needs to be loved in order to even survive. Can we die with that innocence? A lot of people say at the end of their life, I wish that I would have spent more time with my family. I wish that I would have loved more. I wish that I would have done things that really fill my heart. So it's not how much money we made, the titles that we had. Like these things, they don't matter anymore. It is to come back to the innocence of the heart. And if we can do that within a lifetime, maybe, who knows, we might not even have to come back. And I'm very much against saying that, oh, this is my last lifetime. I think that's very arrogant and like kind of misunderstood, because I don't think there is no other place than here and now, right? So where God, intelligence, creator, believes that I should be, that's where I'm going to be for as long as I'm supposed to be there. But really to just come into that 25, it also is connected to the attraction sphere in the Gene Keys, where we have that sixth line, the end and the beginning as well. where we have like going from disappointment to innocence in terms of the sexual wound, which is the deepest, most visceral wound. So it also speaks about that process. Like you come in as a baby and kind of smile to life, right? And don't know about anything in this world. And are you able to, instead of create resentment, disappointment, and all these things and become hardened and aloof and maybe even disconnected and separated in your life, are you able to come back to innocence when it comes to your own sexuality? Whatever religion you've been in, whatever society says about sex, are you able to come back to the lovemaking with yourself, of yourself, with the other that has this innocence to it? There's no shame, nothing was never wrong. Whatever was there in terms of trauma and violations and all these kinds of things, these are things in the core wound that we're working with, working through the rejection and the shame and the denial and all the things that are there, the rage, working with the core wound in terms of the collective and the mythical wound as well, is where we are purifying. And the seven sacred seals, which we mentioned with the gate 22 before as well, is connected to how can we come back through those layers to this innocence as a way of meeting life. The 25, the beginning and the end.
Now we've gone through all the Pisces archetypes that you're going to meet during this season. So now we want to speak a little bit to Pisces and you. And Bella's going to share a little bit about Pisces in her chart. We're going to speak to ways that you can work with Pisces in this upcoming energy. And then we're going to close with a visualization so that you can meet that Pisces archetype within you and start and initiate this journey with this deeper connection. So stay till the end. We're going to close and end with that visualization. And then when it's done, you can spend however much time you need in that energy to make that connection if you want to spend longer. So let's move into your chart, Bella. You spoke a little bit about mine. Did you want to come in to share a little bit about yours?
I think that what I want to highlight, because most of you, if you see this wheel, you probably just look at, okay, blue water energy, right? Pisces. Okay, Bella has nothing there. And then if you have this in your chart and there's nothing there, okay, when then what to do? Then we did say that the 12th house is a place where you can also look with the same energy. So for me, we can see that I have a big 12th house and I have my Mercury there. So knowing that the way that I communicate, that I relate, if you're in the star pearl, that Mercury on the personality side is a relating sphere. So I relate in this energy, a combination of the Pisces 12th house energy together with a Gemini energy. And both of them are mutable. So when I relate, I'm very mutable. I am very quick in that way as a Gemini trait, but I'm also very out there as a Pisces trait. So you're going to see wherever you are in the wheel, you're going to have a combination of a house and a sign, and those two energies are mixing. And if you also have a planet there, then that's going to tell you more, which is often related to the spheres in the gene keys. So then the sphere can speak more to you about what that planet is. And then depending on the house system that you use, something that we speak quite a lot about in our business by design, which has to do with how you express yourself in the world in a more professional sense, is the midheaven. So that's the highest point on the sky in the moment you're born. So depending on the house system, you're going to see that the cusp between my 9th house and the 10th house in this chart is going to be in the 29th degrees of Aquarius. But depending on the house system, in other house system, the equal house and the whole house system, I'm going to have my midheaven in Pisces. So that is that the way that I'm going to be able to build authority easily is through the Pisces energy. And what are we doing here? Esoteric systems is quite out there. We're combining everything, right? So that's very Pisces as well. And that's what Unlock Your Design has been known for, right? So just to start to become a little bit more nuanced of how you are finding those energies in the wheel than to just at the first sight be like, okay, nothing in Pisces, move on, right? So for your own chart, this is ways of beginning to weave the sign with the house, with the planet.
Yes. So also locate your Neptune. But like we said, you can do the course as a way to dig deeper into that. So as you are moving forward into Pisces season, you have 3 ways to play. So you can walk the wheel with us. We host weekly walking the wheel calls. You can do the setup course for Pisces season, or you can join the Inner Circle membership. So here during the walking the wheel calls, we have those weekly archetype Zoom calls where we're going to be focused on whatever archetype is in transit. So we have a free course that you can sign up for. It's going to give you reminders that are going to tell you we have a call today, here's the Zoom link, and then the replays are going to go up, and we keep the replays up for that month. So we'll have all of the February replays that we've already done are there right now. And as we're going into Pisces season, you'll be getting those if you can't join at the time that we join, because we do join on Tuesdays at 11 Pacific and 2 Eastern. So if that doesn't work for you, the replays are available for you. And you're going to have the calls. The course is also going to have a lot of resources in it. So I did make sure to load it up with Gene Key Human Design Astrology resources to help you have a good foundation. And so this free course is going to be great for you. And then you can join us on Tuesdays for the Walking the Wheel calls, and we can talk about the Pisces archetypes together. So this is what's inside. It's going to change depending on what replays are there. So if you feel called to join, that's another free thing we'll do during this season. So we have these initiation or welcome calls, and then we have the weekly Walking the Wheel calls. So the next Walking the Wheel call is going to be around the mother. Yesterday we met around the fire starter and the game changer. Bella will host this call February 25th, and she'll be talking about the mother archetype. So come on in for that. And then, like I said, the setup, we've mentioned that a couple times. If you are interested in digging deep into your own chart, especially for Pisces, you're going to have the ability to look at Neptune, to look at your 12th house, to look at your Pisces activations. There's a lot in these courses now because we've been doing it here for 3 years now. So this is our third year. So we do have everything you need to know about it. And last year we started to do what does it mean when you have the planetary ruler in a zodiac sign or a house. So we focused on Neptune last year, so you can get all you need to know about what does it mean to have Neptune in Aries in the 4th house, if that's what you have. And that's going to help give you insight into that expression of that archetype of that planet and where it is at. So definitely dig into this. If you're in the inner circle, I highly recommend you getting into the course. If you already own this, just refresh yourself, refresh your memory of what Pisces season is about. And then the inner circle, that's going to include the replays of the Walking the Wheel, all of the setup zodiac courses, and also the courses for the archetypes. So for Pisces season, you're going to get all of the Pisces archetypes available for you. You can go, these courses are so comprehensive and they have everything that you need to know about the archetypes in them. So that is going to be very beneficial for you as you are walking the wheel with us. You'll have the archetype courses to help you really understand and unpack these and then embody them, make a difference in your life. You're also going to have access with your Inner Circle membership to our foundations course. So if you're very new to Gene Keys Human Design Astrology, we go through all of those systems and build your foundation. So the Inner Circle membership is where we walk the wheel together in community, and it's not just the single Tuesday call. We have workshops and we have Q&As as well. Oh, and if you use the code IC50, you can get 50% off of your first 3 months. IC100 will give you $100 off of the annual membership if you want to sign up for that. And these are the live events that we have happening this month during Pisces season. Bella will host a Pisces season Q&A and chart interpretations, and I will do a Pisces season and the archetypes workshop where we'll start to play, work with, practice what it is to be, embody, connect with these Piscean archetypes. So that's it. That's what we have. Those are the different ways. Yeah. Here's the invitation. Come into relationship with the many aspects of yourself, be aware and integrate the shadows of the not self, and embody your true self so that you can realize your sovereignty. So we do this by walking the wheel, and we hope you'll join us. So we're going to do a guided visualization and connect with that Pisces energy, and we'll each have our own unique connection with that energy. And at the end, you can sit in silence and I will close our webinar. So that way you can remain in Pisces energy and have that own one-on-one connection. So that's what we'll do. So let's get into it. Before you begin, I know we spoke a lot about a lot of different things today. So I just want to take a moment to have us settle into our spaces. Find a comfortable position, whether you're sitting or you're laying down. And I invite you to gently close your eyes to allow your body to relax. Begin by taking a deep breath in through your nose and exhaling through your mouth. If you can breathe in completely so that you fill your lungs as much as you can, and hold it there to feel the fullness, everything accumulating there. And then exhale, and I want you to exhale fully and completely so that you have let go of everything. So when you feel like you can't exhale anymore, exhale some more. Just allow you to do that a couple times. You're also telling your nervous system, we can let go, we can relax. You're initiating a release, you're initiating a relax, which is perfect for Pisces season. So another time, breathing in and out. And just feeling yourself becoming more present, more open with each breath. Your breath is your resource. It helps you release tension, worry, or resistance. So easy, it's automatic. And this is your sacred time. This is your moment to surrender, to receive, and to flow with the cosmic energy of Pisces. So this is your moment. So now I want you to imagine yourself standing at the edge of a vast ocean. Maybe the water is shimmering with light. The waves are moving gently and rhythmically. They're inviting you in. And as you step forward, the water welcomes you, surrounding your feet with a cool, soothing embrace. Visualizing roots extending from the soles of your feet deep into the earth, into the sand, below the sand, to the center of the earth, anchoring you with stability and trust. Feeling the steady grounding energy of the earth rising through these roots, and they're flowing into your body, bringing you more of that sense of safety, peace, tenderness, wisdom, abundance. You can imagine this earth Gaia energy coming into you as this golden light, this golden love light. Just breathe it up into your body, into your heart, allowing your heart to pump this energy through your whole being so that you're filled with grounding, loving Gaia energy. And above you is a luminous beam of light that's descending from the heavens, entering through your crown. This light is going to carry the essence of Pisces energy, of divine connection, intuition, limitless creativity. And as it moves through you, it clears away any blockages that are preventing you from tuning into your intuition, from tuning in, tapping in. It's going to blend effortlessly with the grounding energy from the earth, and it's going to create a harmonious balance within your being. So we're merging the heavens and the earth inside of your body, and you're both feeling rooted and free, surrendered yet held, and open and still protected. And that way you are ready to dive deeper. So now take a deep breath, and I want you to step fully and more deeply into the water. And with each step, you feel lighter, freer, more fluid. You're able to breathe underneath the water too. And as you are feeling more lighter, freer, and more fluid, you're feeling like the boundaries of your body are dissolving into the vastness of the ocean. And as you float effortlessly, the water carries you beyond time, beyond space, guiding you into the heart of Pisces energy, a place where intuition, dreams, and divine wisdom flow endlessly. So take this time to look around. This is a realm of infinite possibility. Maybe you see glowing fish weaving through the currents. Maybe their movements forming sacred symbols. Soft waves ripple with colors, maybe even beyond your imagination. Everything shifting with your breath and reflecting the depths of your inner world. You're no longer separate. You're one with the ocean. You're one with the cosmos. And you're one with the divine flow of existence. Now, as you drift deeper, the water begins to shimmer with a radiant glow. And from the depths, a mermaid-like being emerges. A luminous figure, her form flowing like liquid moonlight. She is not just a creature of legend. She is a guide. She's a messenger from the depths of your subconscious, and she's a keeper of the unseen. Her presence is both gentle and profound, her eyes holding the mysteries of the universe. She does not speak in words, but through a feeling, a knowing, a deep sense of trust. She gestures towards you, and as you move closer, she extends her hands, offering you a sacred gift. It's an object that holds the wisdom that you need most right now. Take a moment to receive it, to tune into it. Some of you might not be visual, you might be more about knowing than you are about seeing. So just know that you've received this. And you can tune into how it's landing in your body. Maybe you're feeling more. You can be seeing, you can be hearing something. You're just going to want to tune into your intuitive senses and however they translate this energy for you. Your hands also have chakras, so you can feel into your hands as if the energy was placed in the palm of your hand. You want to feel into that energy to feel like, what does it feel like? What is its texture? What is its weight? What is its size? Your hands can receive the information as well. Trust that whatever appears is exactly what you need in this moment. And as you hold this sacred gift, the mermaid begins to hum a melodic, otherworldly song. It's a song that stirs something ancient within you. Maybe you're hearing it, maybe you're not, but it is reaching you nonetheless. It's a sound that feels both familiar and forgotten, and it's a vibration that resonates through your soul. Maybe you feel yourself swaying, your body moving in circular motions, your heartbeat syncing with the gentle waves around you. The melody unlocks a memory. It unlocks a deep knowing that has always been a part of this great infinite ocean. And this song also carries an affirmation. It's a mantra to help integrate Pisces energy. And as I say it, you can say it to yourself or you can say it out loud. I trust the unseen. I flow with ease. I surrender to the wisdom of the sea. Allow these words to settle into your heart and let them become part of you. Now bring to mind an intention that you have for this Pisces season, something that you might wish to surrender to, something that you're ready to trust now, something that you long to create or experience. Whatever pops up first is probably the thing that is the best and most aligned. Let the energy of your intention merge with the ocean, knowing that it will be carried where it needs to go, and that there's nothing to force and nothing to chase. There's only trust in divine timing. The water around you is now beginning to glow, and it's illuminating your path forward. You are supported and you're guided, and you are exactly where you need to be. Take one last deep breath, feeling gratitude for the energy of Pisces and for your own willingness to surrender and trust. You can turn towards the mermaid-like being and offer a silent thank you for her guidance and wisdom. You can feel the warmth of her presence as she slowly fades back into the depths, her energy forever intertwined with yours. And when you're ready, you can slowly begin to come out of the water that you were in, your body coming back into form. You can begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. If you want to sit in this space, you can do so. If you want to connect back into the water, or to the mermaid, or to anything else that came up, you can. If you feel called to open your eyes and jot down any insights or symbols or feelings that came through, you're welcome to. Tune into what's best for you and let what showed up right now for you to be a map for navigating Pisces season with ease and flow and deep trust. Welcome to the season of surrender, intuition, and divine flow. This now concludes our Pisces season. Welcome and good luck on your journey through Pisces season. Thank you.